You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. I gotta fix something. When you're out of the studio for a long time, sometimes things stop working. So I gotta fix this so it starts. Don't drop. I got the wire. My wire almost dropped. Then I would have to get up and do all the things. What's going on, guys? All right. Let me know where you guys are watching from. What's going on, everyone? Angel says, did you replace the cord? No. I did not, but it's okay. Things still work. I have a few things that I need to do when it comes to just cleaning up the studio. There's couple of things I just need to do. Organizing the studio. I need to do that now that I'm back and there are no trips on deck. I have things to do. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch, Twitter, and those of you watching on Facebook, and those of you watching on YouTube. Of course, YouTube was down yesterday. I'm actually kind of glad because I had a very busy day yesterday. I went to the dentist. I went to the chiropractor. I had to go to my rental property. I had a few things that I needed to do. And by the time I came home, I was sort of like, okay, maybe I can do the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap. Only to find out that YouTube was down. So I was like, you know what? This is a sign from the universe. Slow down. Calm down. You could do it today. And here we are talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. If you guys had to rate this week's episode from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Look, at first I was sort of like, okay, we just had an episode in one scene. We didn't go to various different scenes. And the scene, I have to say the beginning of the argument between Lisa and Angie, I was like, oh my God, these two are crazy. They're chaotic. By the end of it, I'm like, I'm over it. I do not even want Angie and Lisa to talk about this next week. Next week, they better resolve it. Or at least be able to be like, okay, we're not going to have this full out fight every single week. Because at this particular point, I'm over it. After this week's episode, I'm Mary Cosby. I'm getting in my car and I'm going home. I'm done with this. Because at this particular point, I'm sort of like, okay, Lisa, you put it to bed a couple of episodes back. You put it to bed. Lisa reignited it with like, I'm coming back for my son's products. And now it's beef again. So Lisa started it, but Angie was not helping. Angie is very performative, but Angie has really grown on me as a housewife. She really has stepped up. She really has stepped up as a housewife, and I'm enjoying her this season. How about you guys? Are you enjoying Angie this season? I mean, besides the prolonging of this fight, I'm enjoying her for the most part. There's a reason why she's in the center. Okay? She's in the center for a reason. She's definitely grown, because you remember, if you go back to when she first got on the show, I was like, Angie, just be your own person. Stop sucking up to Jen Shaw. Stop sucking up to Lisa. And I think she's taken that advice, and now she is solid in her position on the show. Christian says that she's way too rehearsed. And Danny says that Angie's is too rehearsed. Here's the thing. I agree, but I think with Salt Lake City, because of how kooky and wacky they all are, the rehearsed stuff, it kind of works. It kind of works with these women because they're so quacky and because a lot of them are a little rehearsed. Because remember the scroll from last season, you saw her coming in with the Tupperware. Yes, very rehearsed, but at the same time, it's very interesting to watch. Very interesting to watch because although she does have her rehearsed moments, she's also pretty sharp when it comes into landing an insult and landing a shade. So although I do agree, there's a lot of performative moments from Angie, she's also quick. Okay. See, Lexi says, I feel like Angie is smarter than she thought, than I thought she would be. Yeah. She's definitely grown. She's definitely grown as a housewife. Shanika says, I love Angie. I'm not sure if I'm ready to say that I love Angie, but she's definitely grown on me. You know how I am with the word LOVE, okay? Angel says, Angie is rehearsed, but she's not overly self-producing. That is very different. Kurt is watching from Cape Town, South Africa. Shout out to you. Maud says, just in time for my lunch break. What are you having for lunch? I haven't had lunch. I had a little bit of a shake, but I need like a meal after this. But I have another appointment after this, so we can't be here long. I have a few things to get into when it comes to Housewives of Salt Lake City. So I decided to break up this episode in a way that can make sense. So I'm breaking it up in between their readings. Okay? So at the top of the episode, we see Whitney and Justin preparing these bouquet of flowers as the invite to her event. So she's hosting an event. I don't know about Whitney, y'all. Like, I don't mind Whitney because I think Whitney's an important ingredient when it comes to the culture of what we're watching, when it comes to an ex-Mormon that left the religion, but she's on another, quote, healing journey. She's on another healing journey. And I'm sort of like, girl, didn't we do this like 2 seasons ago? Now she's trying to get back to and connect to who she used to be, the fun-loving girl. And she says the reason why she stopped being that fun-loving girl and having fun and having a good time was because when she was being that way, that's part of the reason why Justin lost his job. And that makes sense to me, but I'm sort of like, okay, here we go with the healing journey yet again. But okay, I'll keep an open mind, but I could care less. I could care less about Whitney and her healing journey. All right. It's so funny because at the very top of this episode, we have Mary Cosby arriving. Sidebar, did you guys see the Us Weekly cover of the ladies? Oh, let me pull that up because I meant to pull it up before because I thought this was really cool. This was their ode to Desperate Housewives, and I thought this was really cool that they did this. Let me see if I can get the image. Where's the image? I mean, there's other images, and a lot of people were upset that Angie was not a part of the cover image, but it seemed like they wanted to just do the OGs. So let me just show you the cover, and I need to pull up the other cover as well. Hold on, y'all. It's a live show. Okay, so this is the new issue of Us Weekly with the OGs on front, but it's an ode to the ladies of Desperate Housewives. Hold on, let me see if I can find that photo too so you can see the difference. Because I thought this was really cute. I like this little ode. And there's been a couple of clips from the interview that's come out. Let me see if I can find. It was Vanity Fair that they were on the cover of the other ladies. So let me just pull that up for you guys. All right. Hold on, y'all. Because I want to make sure I have like a good quality photo of them. So you can see the difference here. Shout out to Best of Bravo. I'm getting it from their page. Let me pull this up over here. I thought this was really cute. Don't you guys think this is cute? This is cute. This is really cute. So this was the original cover of Desperate Housewives. And so they were paying ode to their cover. And I thought this was really cute. I kind of wish, and I get it, Mary Cosby is a little bit more conservative, but she could have gotten a conservative bathing suit. I mean, at least she had the color right, but I kind of wish that she would have given us a little bit something different because this looks like she's wearing a dress and everyone else is wearing a bathing suit. Okay, so this was their ode to Vanity Fair's cover with the ladies of Desperate Housewives. I don't know if you guys are fans of Desperate Housewives. I used to watch it. I loved it. They've talked about bringing it back for so long, but they have not. I don't think Mark Cherry wants to bring it back. I don't know, but that was a moment in time in television. But I thought this was really cute. It seems as if that the ladies of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is the bread and butter over there at Bravo, hence why they keep attaching Watch What Happens Live episodes to the Peacock version. We don't need that, Bravo or Andy. We know the ratings over there are failing, so we get it that you're trying to attach yourself so you can get those ratings up, but Watch What Happens Live is still a fail. It's still a womp. But anyway, we had taken a break from calling Watch What Happens Live out, but we're back to doing it. Okay. So Mary Cosby at the top of this episode lets us know that this space where Whitney's having the event is actually a space where the owner unalived his wife on Christmas Day. Not Christmas Day. In front of their dog. And she said the dog was never normal again. She says that. So I was really surprised that she was having this event at the space. I'm surprised that Mary Cosby didn't say it in the moment to the ladies. Like, did you guys hear about the story about what happened here? But anyway, so Mary sees Meredith's outfit. What did you guys think of Meredith's outfit? Meredith's outfit, I didn't mind the dress, because Mary said it looked like a bunch of viruses walking. She looked like a walking virus. When you look at the dress a little bit more, it's like a denim dress with like flowers on it. I thought the dress was cute. I think her hair, makeup, I think Meredith looked cute. I think the shoes, though, were overkill. If she had maybe just had like some white boots on, it would have been so cute. I feel like the matching shoes was overkill. That's where it made it look kind of crazy. But again, we're seeing it on television. She's seeing it in person, so it probably looks a little bit different. But I thought the outfit was actually kind of cute, a little denim. But that's me. That's me. Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, Angel says Meredith's outfit would have been cute if she would have broken it up. It was too much from head to toe. Yeah. With the shoes, I was like, okay, that's a little bit too much. Yeah. Melissa says, I liked it for the event. Pink Popstar says that Meredith's outfit I would love in a different color. Like what color? V gives the virus emojis. Love it. Singer says Meredith's outfit I looks like it didn't belong to her. Well, maybe it didn't. You know how these housewives do? I feel like the shoes made it too much. Because then without I didn't love the shoes. The shoes, if you looked at the bottom of the shoes, it looked a little crazy. But yeah. Dr. Jen says that Meredith was over the top. I think that was the goal, to be over the top, to stand out, to be different. But I actually liked the dress. And I liked her hair and makeup. I thought she looked great. She looked very youthful. All right. Exactly. The breakfast at Tiffany's fit was worse. Agreed, DB. If you remember that from last season where she got into an argument with Mary Cosby, which is interesting because in the Us Weekly interview, Mary Cosby credits Meredith for the reason why she comes back to the show, because she didn't realize the dynamics of the show and how, crazy it would get and all the arguing and things like that. Hence why she took the time off that she did from the show. But she said she credited Meredith and Heather for the reason why she came back. Okay. Corey says you have to remember that Mary's the first lady of her church. I know, but a first lady can still. For me, she still could have worn a bathing suit of some sort that was covered up. It just felt like she was wearing a dress. That's the only thing. But it's okay. Like I completely understand why Mary was dressed up. Okay, I completely understand why she was dressed up in this Us Weekly cover. I think they look great though, regardless. I have to give it to Heather. Heather is giving model with that pose and the hair in the wind. Shout out to Meredith in the black. She looks great. And Meredith, you could take a lesson or two from the retouchers here. You don't have to look crazy like a cartoon character when you retouch your photos. You can look like yourself and still look gorgeous. Whitney looks great too. I love that she's back to the blonde hair. I think they look great. I will say, I like Lisa's in this photo. It looks like she's finding the more of the lighter brown brunette as opposed to the dark black that she was doing. I feel like that ages her even more. But yeah, Stinger says that I like Meredith in that pic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mr. Melamash says Heather looks different. Well, yeah, she's lost some weight. She does the things to her face and whatnot. Elliot says the cover is fierce. Yes. Allie says Ozempic looking good on Heather. Well, let me go back to the photo. Hold on, please hold. Yeah, she's definitely lost some weight. Let me see. I have to say though, yeah, she's lost some weight, but she still looks like a curvy woman. You know what I mean? I like it. Good for you, Heather. I have to say, you're eating up the girls in that picture, too. All right. Yes, bowling ball black in regards to Lisa Barlow's hair. It seems like she's finding a little bit more of the brown hue. I think that's what was needed for her. Okay. Paulette says sleek black hair is sexy, though. Normally, but it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. And it hasn't been working for Lisa Barlow. Because I agree. Because you look at well, no, she has some like brownish hues. I was thinking about Angie K, but I think Angie K could get away with bowling ball black hair. Just saying. All right, let me move on because I have to get through this because it's such a haphazard episode. It's a hard episode for someone that's recapping it because it's so all over the place, and the majority of this episode is about Lisa and Angie's fight. So I have to kind of break it up. Okay. So Whitney says that she conformed because Justin lost his job from being the wild and free woman that she once was. So she gives a speech. She uses her phone. You couldn't speak from your heart. She has to use her phone to speak in regards to the changes that she's made. But okay. All right. Then she surprises the group saying that she brought this guy, Terrence, from New York City. I need to find Terrence. He's here in New York. Do you guys think that Terrence is actually good? Because I feel like the producers try to make it seem like Terrence didn't know what he was talking about. In a way, but I feel like they were shading Brittany, but at the same discrediting Terrence. So she tells the ladies that she's brought Terrence, or she flew him in so that he can read them. Okay. Mary says the Bible calls psychics soothsayers, so she's not going to do this. So she's going to pass. I'm not surprised by that. Okay. So Mary says that she's concerned about the raw salmon because she's concerned that they're going to have little babies and camp out in her body. But you literally hear the lady say that the salmon is smoked. But then when Mary asked the lady, are they tartare? And she's like, yes, they are. So she's like, I'm not eating that. I'm going to just have cheese with the wine. It's all these little funny little moments with Mary that I always have to mention because they're funny. All right, so Angie talks about her house being for sale. And I forgot that Angie's house is for sale. I didn't realize that Angie's house was for sale for over $4 million. But according to Brittany, who I didn't realize that Brittany was in real estate, or maybe we forgot. And Brittany was like, that's pretty high. So Brittany gets on her phone and she ends up looking up the property. Okay? She ends up looking up Angie's property. And she's like, why didn't you have me sell it? And Angie's like, well, I have my God family, whatever, selling it. And she's like, I just met you. Why would I have you sell my property? Which I don't blame her. And so she starts dissecting the sale. She's like, oh, it's been on the market for 200 days? 200. And that is a long time. And here's the thing. When they start arguing about the property and how to sell property and things like that, I actually agree with both of them. Because what Brittany was saying was not far from the truth. It has been on the market for a very long time. You have to price property well so that it sells at a decent price. But Angie was correct too that her agents were like, it's been on the market for a long time. We need to adjust the pricing. But according to Brittany, she still feels like that is still very high for the area. Then the ladies start, mind you, I don't know anything about Salt Lake City property or these different areas that they were mentioning, but this is very Housewives where they start like, well, this particular neighborhood is the highest part, or this particular neighborhood is the best part and the most expensive. And then Lisa cuts them all off and she's like, well, no, this one, then this one, then this one, and then Park City. Does Lisa live in Park City? Where does Lisa live? So the battle of the different zip codes was interesting to watch, okay? But like I said, I agreed with both Brittany and Angie, probably more so Brittany. Brittany knows what she's talking about. The property's been on the market for a long time. I didn't realize her home was up there for $4 million. I wonder how much she'll sell it for. I wonder how much she will sell it for because, I mean, between the black cards being thrown like dishes at a Greek party and Heather saying she's never seen a black card before in person, like in real life. I'm like, Angie's that girl. Angie might have the most money of this crew, right? That we know of. She's got multiple black cards. She's even got the black card on the Prada bracelet. I think I've only seen one other person with the Prada black card bracelet thing. And I forgot where it was and who it was. But anyway. Jay Poo says, I know Meredith rents in Park City. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch because we are streaming in high quality sound. And apparently it sounds and looks so much better on Twitch. Twitch.tv/TheKempire. So be sure to follow us there. Oh, thank you so much, Elliot. Elliot says, supposedly it's listed at $3.8 million right now. So she lowered it again. which is not unusual. We see this all the time, especially for those of us that love watching these property reality shows. A lot of the owners will be like, I want this amount. And despite what the agent will tell them and advise them, they're like, no, I want this amount. We've heard this before. So it wouldn't shock me that they're going to have to lower it in order to sell it. But still, she's living in a multi-million-dollar home that she owns. Okay? I forgot, Eddie. I forgot. You're right. Eddie says, don't sleep on the Todd father. You're right, Eddie. You know, he's the godfather of the Todd father of the Palm Pilot. So that tech money is long. Okay? Yeah, tech money is long. All right. So we had that little bit of a back and forth. It gets a little heated. Okay? All right. Brittany and Angie argue about selling the home. All right. Jared, then the whole conversation about Jared comes up. And because apparently Jared was calling her while she was filming. And Whitney brings up, so she's like, I thought you were going to try and do 30 days without talking or dating Jared. And Mary's like, how long has it been? She's like, 24 hours. Sidebar. The other day we were talking about Ashley performing at Studio 54. Apparently, Brittany is bringing her one-woman show to Studio 54 as well. But here's the difference between Brittany and Ashley. Brittany can actually sing, and Brittany has a kooky personality. So I feel like between the good singing and the kooky personality, it's a great show. Right? So she just announced that. What is it called again? What About Me? That's what it's called. What About Me? I'm gonna have to get tickets, y'all, because Brittany can actually sing. Okay. Lexi says, please let Jared and Brittany leave. I like Brittany, y'all. I don't know about the Jared of it all. What does Jared do for a living? Because, you know, a conversation about him taking care of her, taking her on vacation, paying her bills, you know, buying her a nice bag, that kind of thing. J. Pooh says Brittany was on Broadway. When? When was she on Broadway? Both of them are Geminis, Jared and Brittany. Well, that makes sense. Kaboom says Jared and Britt are more on and off than a light switch. I wonder if some of that is played up for the cameras. Like, we're going to continue to do this for the cameras. It makes me wonder. I don't know, but here we are. Angel says Brittany's voice is trained for theater. J-Lo should tap in. Poor J-Lo. I need to do a little video talking about how J-Lo's movie, Kiss of the Spider Woman, has failed at the box office. J-Lo, you're not listening to me. I'm telling you, you need to allow us to miss you. That movie bombed, y'all. It didn't even hit $1 million. They spent like $30 million on the damn movie. It didn't even hit $1 million in the first week. I mean, it didn't have that much marketing. How does it become about J-Lo? Because someone mentioned J-Lo in the chat. But I just wanted to mention that. But anyway. All right. So apparently Brittany could not do 30 days without Jared. And Whitney is disappointed because, you know, we had the whole conversation last week. And I want to clarify my statements from last week when it comes to the whole Brittany and Jared of it all. I think Brittany should take 30 days off for her and prioritize her kids. But what I was pointing out, if this was a solid, healthy relationship, I would say being in a solid, healthy relationship is actually far better for children. However, this is not a solid, healthy relationship. This is just some random man that she keeps on and off again relationship, and he's flirting with other people. This is not a healthy relationship. She should be able to give this relationship up for the sake of her grown daughters, 23 and 19. Just saying. All right, so apparently we find out that Jared told Justin that he spends thousands of dollars on Brittany and that it feels like she only comes around when she needs a vacation. Thank you, Coco. Coco says, I understood what you meant. Just to clarify, I mean, I think our audience understood what I meant. Thank you, Coco, who's watching on Twitch. So Jared told Justin that that's what he feels. He feels like he's being used. Well, it takes a user to know a user. Word on the street is that you're talking to other women. So what are you using Brittany for? To be on this show? Probably. So Brittany, I know you're watching this because you're probably watching anything that has to do with the show and anything that's about you. Hey, Britt. I like you on the show, Britt. So Britt, keep using him. Get that bag. Hope it's good bags. Don't, because if you're going to get a bag, don't get a Firkin. Get a real, not a Birkin. It doesn't have to be a Birkin. But a lot of those bags you can resell for a bigger price later on. So get your bags, girl, and save some of the money that if he gives you cash. Say, oh, Jared, I need to pay my electric bill. Give me the cash. And you pay your electric bill, and then you put the money to the side. Not me telling her to be a scammer. Just saying. Sidebar, speaking of scammers. Sorry, Dr. Wendy. I saw that Tamra Judge is speaking out that one of Wendy's neighbors reached out to her and said that when the burglary happened, they felt as if the burglary was suspicious and not real. Okay. First of all, Tamra, how do we even know, or did that person confirm to you that they were the actual neighbor? Or are you just running with it because you're a messy woman? Let's go with the latter. You're just a messy woman. However, we already talked about the neighborhood. I'm sure the neighbors did suspect, okay, this burglary can't be real because this is not a neighborhood that has had burglaries like that. I'm sorry, I had to do a sidebar because when else would we be talking about this? Well, we probably talk about it during my TikTok, so make sure you guys follow me on TikTok. I go live. I was live there last night. You may have missed it because you're not following me on TikTok. It's all right. All right, back to this. So Brittany's reading. So let's talk about Brittany's reading and what came out in Brittany's reading. So, and this is where I feel like production was shading Brittany, but at the same time discrediting Terrence. So Terrence basically foretells the issues that Brittany's having with her daughters, specifically the younger one. That's what stood out to me because I don't recall whether or not Brittany has told us that it's the younger one that has the main issue. Based off the clips that they showed, it was mostly her saying that she hasn't spoken to her daughters. So Terrence is able to say, you're having issues with your kids. There's a breakdown of communication. It's the younger one. So Brittany, in her confession, is like, oh my gosh, Terrence is the real deal. He knew about my issues with my daughters. Cue the footage of her talking about it multiple times on national television. So I felt like it was a dig at Terrence, but it was more so a dig at Brittany. Girl, you swear that he picked this out of nowhere, but you've talked about the issues on national television. These editors are shady AF, but I appreciated it. All right, so that's what her reading was. I'm going to be taking breaks in between just to separate this one scene from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Guys, I see 78% of you are rating this episode between 7 and 10. If you're watching on Twitch or on Facebook, be sure to let me know how you individually would rate this week's episode. That's pretty damn good. And this is only episode 5? That's not bad. Exactly. Unique says, shout out to our new King's Guards. Unique says, Bravo is so shady showing all the past clips about her daughters. I was laughing out loud. Oh, K-Baby says, Mr. Cleo just watches the show. I mean, he is friendly with Whitney, so it wouldn't shock me. Chelsea says, best editors in the game. I will give it to Salt Lake City. For me, the cinematography of Salt Lake City is top tier. The editing is top tier. We say this all the time. So that was Brittany's reading. Okay. So in between her reading, Meredith decides to bring up what Angie brought to her attention. And again, Meredith is the only person that could confirm or deny any of the truth that might be to what Angie could have, was alluding to in regards to the whole scamming of it all, debt and all that thing. Those are very specific things. So only Meredith could decide, but well, those are some real things that happened. And the fact that Lisa brought that up to her, I believe that that's what Lisa did. However, Lisa, when confronted by Meredith about it, she's like, I hear that you're spreading negative rumors about my family. Lisa denies it. She's like, we're working on a better friendship. We're working on a better friendship. And, there are things that have happened, but, we decided to work past that. And she's like, I don't know where you got that from, but from the look of Satan's face, I can tell who. So she refers to Angie as Satan. Okay. But then I have to remind you of this moment. Please hold. Hold on. Where is my
Good. Meredith can go herself. I'm done with her. Because I'm not a whore and I don't cheat on my husband. Her and a dumb family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Wait, you can't. Because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes? Fake Meredith is a piece of I have your back and I'm offended by that. You, that piece of garbage whore. I hate her. She's a whore. She's after New York. She can go herself.
And we will continue to play this to the end of time. We will continue. I'm sorry, Meredith. We will continue to play this. No, we are staying right here. So they're working on their friendship. I don't think Meredith and Lisa are friends anymore. I think they are in an alliance as OGs of this show. They've decided to put their issues aside. It wouldn't be shocking to me that producers have said to them, nobody wants to see you guys fight anymore. People much rather see you guys get along. That would not shock me. Because like I said before, the specifics of what Angie said about the things that Lisa wanted her to look into, only Meredith will know if there's any truth or rumors about those things. So I believe Angie. Shay said, I believe Angie. Because remember, Angie and Lisa were very close, and they would spend hours and hours and hours and hours on the phone. And especially after someone says that on national television about you, basically expose all your secrets, do you forgive them? I don't see it. I don't see her forgiving Lisa ever for that, in my opinion. Keith says, who said that? I want to see them fight. I'm always funky. It says Kempire and that Lisa soundbite. I will always play it. Unscripted says best hot mic ever. Honestly, is it considered a hot mic when she had the mic on? I guess, did she assume? Oh yeah, because she was in the room. It is a hot mic moment. I just remember her coming out the room and then throwing the mic at them. Angel, you're right. Angel says Heather kind of stamped what Angie said. But that's because Heather and Meredith apparently are going to have some sort of beef this season, because you can see already some of what Heather's been saying. Even in this moment, Heather's like, she doesn't understand why Meredith is letting Lisa off the hook. So she's already here stirring the pot, Heather, when it comes to drama between Meredith and Lisa. But I don't think that's going to happen. Mary Jane says, you can forgive, but it changes the dynamics of the friendship. And look, she probably has forgiven her. I don't think so, though, Mary Jane's baby. I don't think she has. You can, but I don't think she really has moved on from that. I think she's decided to move on for the sake of the show. All right. And then we have, so there becomes this back and forth between Angie and Lisa. And when she refers to Angie as Satan, she's like, I don't do my deeds in the dark. I do them in the light. I was like, okay, Angie. This is why I say Angie is growing into herself. Meredith, because they're going back and forth. Angie and Lisa are going back and forth. Meredith starts to scream. She's like, stop talking about the kids. You guys are going too low. Stop talking about the kids.
I am the fifth member. How about that?
Just stop talking about the kids. Every time she starts screaming, both Lisa and Meredith, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried for their blood pressure in their heads. It seems like their heads are about to explode. As I said before, Heather says she doesn't understand why Meredith is letting Lisa get off so easy when it comes to this. Again, I do. I feel like this is just an alliance. Then we have Bronwyn's reading. So in Bronwyn's reading with Terrence, he brings up her mother and the mother's brain issue. And apparently there's something else when it comes to the mother's health that is about to come up. And I have to say, speaking of the new housewives that have been growing on me, Bronwyn has been growing back on me. I really appreciate Bronwyn's perspective and her ability to move on and be self-aware, unlike a lot of these housewives. And she can be kooky, too, at the same time. And then she's also married to the Todd father with the gout D. I had to. Sorry. So Bronwyn gets her reading, and she finds out that there could be another issue with her mother's health. And then she's so reflective that she's just like, I always think that I have 10 more fights with my mother. And the fact that he's saying that possibly I might not is it shook her to her core, to the point where when she walks out to the other lady, she's still like shaken up, but Lisa and Angie are still fighting. And Meredith's just like, are you okay? Like Meredith was like, everybody stop. Like, let's check on Bronwyn. To the point where there's still Angie and Lisa. They're like, oh my God, what's going on? So Bronwyn reveals like, what's going on with her mom living with her and the issues. And one of the other things Terrence says that I know your mother is very hard on you, but she really does love you. And I know a lot of people have been very hard on Bronwyn's mother since last week's episode, rightfully so. But he says genuinely, her mother really loves her, but maybe she just has a funny way of showing it, or inability to show it. So he does say that about Bronwyn's mother. I wrote something else about what he said. Oh, he says that Bronwyn's mother is her biggest supporter, even though it doesn't always appear that way. Thank you so much, Melissa. Melissa's watching on Facebook. Melissa says, I have missed your sound effects while you were on vacation. They are so chef's kiss. Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate that. And shout out to our Facebook community. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, the Kempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. So Bronwyn shares what Terrence said with the other women, but Angie and Lisa can't help but to keep fighting. Okay, so as they're fighting, everyone's trying to console Bronwyn. Mary hugs her. Even Brittany. Brittany and Bronwyn have never really seen it for each other. She's hugging on Brittany, and she's like, "You guys just keep arguing. We're just gonna love on each other over here." So Lisa claims someone told her about Angie using someone else's credit card to take themselves on vacation, and then Angie paid them back. So Angie's just like, oh, really? Again, I feel like this was definitely planned. This was a performance. But I appreciate it because I was like, whoa, you have how many black cards? Okay, so she starts throwing her black cards across the table. And Mary Cosby is so far. I get it. In real life, seeing someone throw their personal cards like that is frustrating. So Mary's like, stop throwing your stuff. So she's like, this black card and this black card. And Heather's just like, oh my God, I've never seen a black card in person. And then she pulls out the Prada black card thing, which it says to me, that is wealth. Angie really is about that life, okay? She's got multiple black cards, and she's got the Prada bracelet with the black card, so she can use that too. Okay, so she brought all of that. I mean, I think she brought all those cards just to have this moment. But the way she was doing it, I was like, it's like all she needed to do in that moment would be like, Oppa, Oppa. Because that's what it was giving. Because like, how many black cards does she have? Okay, so her black cards are all over the table. Okay, so she starts throwing her black cards. Heather is so impressed. Brittany has gotten her hands on it. Heather makes a joke. She's like, don't make sure you get these cards back from Brittany because she might leave Jared because now she's got these black cards. Okay. So then she brings up Lisa's facelift, and she says that Lisa looks like her face. She says that Lisa looks like she's in a wind tunnel. Come on, you gotta give Angie credit. I know she has some very pre-produced moments, some performative moments, but that for me, not Lisa's face looks like she's in a wind tunnel. Come on. That was a good one. Good one, Angie. That was definitely a good one. All right, so while they're arguing, Heather goes in for her reading. Okay, so Heather's reading is about her relationships. And I don't know if we realize this, and I'm guessing maybe next season we're going to see Heather dating. Remember in the first season, Heather was flirting with that black man? I think Heather would do very well with a black. I think she should go totally opposite than Mormon. Black guy, Muslim. I don't know, but definitely a black guy. I want to see her date a black guy or a man of color. It doesn't have to be a black guy, a man of color. Okay, maybe Jen Shaw could hook her up. Ooh, Hey Jude says, I do not care how many Amex Angie has. I don't think we care either, but I was sort of like, I did not expect that moment at all. But I was impressed too. I was like, that many black cards. It's not like she just threw one. So a lot of people were saying that Angie was copying Dr. Nicole from Real Housewives of Miami when she put her black card down to the therapist. But she one-upped Dr. Nicole and laid down multiple ones. Just saying. But who knows? Dr. Nicole could have multiple ones too. Nicole says, not Muslim. Hell no. I'm just saying. I feel like I want her to go far left. Okay? All right. Greg says, is Coach Shaw single next? You mean Coordinator Shaw? No, he's sticking beside her. Andy Cohen still is not here for Jen Shah coming back. Even when it was brought up during this week's episode, his face was like this, like his face wanted to crack. He's definitely giving Jen Shah, but not the same level. He'll at least say Jen Shah's name, but it's almost the same treatment that he gives Bethany and Nene now. Like he doesn't want to mention them ever. Okay. So Heather's reading was about her dating life and what's going on with her dating life. And he's like, you're feeling like your relationships is sort of stagnant. So that is what her reading is about, even though she comes out and says, what did he say? And he's like, oh, he says, I'm the most successful and the richest one among us. And Bronwyn was like, I think he got our readings mixed up. Whatever. Okay. So Bronwyn opened up about her reading and struggles with her mom. Angie goes off on the Angie and Lisa stuff. This is why I had to break it up. Because the Angie and Lisa stuff, they're back and forth. At one particular point, she's like, why don't you just take one of my credit cards and go to Nordstrom? And Lisa's like, I don't shop at Nordstrom. Huh? And then they keep going back and forth. And then Lisa makes a claim about Angie and the soup man, the Salt Lake City soup man. Angie later on in the episode, she's like, I don't even like soup. Who is this soup man? What is that random stuff that has been coming out of Lisa Barlow's mouth this season? Because she went from the gout D, now we're talking about the soup man. Who is the soup man? Ooh, today is so chilly here in New York City. It's a good day for some soup. I did order soup, though. Order my groceries. With some crackers. And then curled up on the couch and watch a good show. Like Reasonable Doubt on Hulu. Or watch the last couple of episodes of Abbott Elementary. That's Abbott Elementary is like a warm hug. We are taking a lot of sidebars today. Little chicken noodle soup with some crackers in it. And Vicky says some pho. Or that. So some crackers in it. With a nice little good show. Not thinking about doing any kind of work. Yeah, someone brought up the Seinfeld soup episode. I'm not even a Seinfeld fan, but even I know about that. Ooh, Gigi says, I'm having lentil soup. Thank you, Gigi, for being a member. Lentil soup is very good for you. There's a lot of protein in it. So, B-Pen says, I love Abbott Elementary. Me too. That's like a warm hug. Veronique says, the soup man cometh. I hope we're able to clarify. I don't think so, because later on when Lisa's asked about the soup man, she's like, maybe that's a question for Terrence. Excuse me? What is lasagna souply? Like, I know what it is, but at the same time, I've never had it. Is that any good? I don't like lasagna wet. I mean, kind of. I guess it is already kind of wet, but not soupy. No. Butternut squash soup is good this time of the year. Nikki says, can I come over, Kemp? That sounds lovely. Amanda says, my sister and I are watching Hocus Pocus this weekend. It's Halloween. Literally, we're only 15 days away. First of all, happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We normally do a fundraiser. Is it too late for us to start? You think we can be able to raise $3,000 before the end of the month, y'all? I think we can. We usually do, what is the name of the organization? Black Girl Code or something like that. We've raised money multiple years since we relaunched the channel. I think we should. We do it every year. I think we can do it. I was traveling the first 2 weeks, and I meant to do it while I was traveling, but, things happen. I think we can raise $3,000 as a community for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, because Black women specifically are affected far greater amongst their peers when it comes to breast cancer. Teresa says, if you shame us, we can't. You're right. After this live, I will set it up. And for those that are watching the replay of this, you will see an option to support this organization 100%. That's what I love about YouTube giving. I'm not a huge fan of YouTube and the splits when it comes to the money. But when it comes to YouTube giving, 100% of your donation goes to the organization. And thank you to everyone that helped us raise back in June over $5,000 for the LGBT Center here in New York City. I love how we've taken such a sidebar. A bunch of you are talking about soup in the chat. Not cabbage soup. Hold on. Soraya says, Kemp, I just Googled lasagna soup and it looks good. Hold on. Let me see. Lasagna soup. Let me see. Oh, you know what? Look, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. Y'all want to see a picture of lasagna soup? Let me see. Let me see if I can. This don't look bad, y'all. Hold on. We are taking such sidebars, but I feel like when you talk about Salt Lake City, it's almost talking about winter. So I want to kind of, let me see if I can pull this up here. Not us looking at lasagna. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with our community? Hold on. Please hold. Back here. That doesn't look bad. Chicken and sausage lasagna soup. That doesn't look bad. Who's going to make it for me, though? Because I'm not making it. All right. Mary Jane says, nothing like broccoli and cheese soup. What about Houston's broccoli? What is it, broccoli and cheese something? I forgot what it's called. You guys know Houston's. It's not even called Houston's anymore. Q Potato says, I love lasagna soup. Can we focus? Okay, apparently y'all are making the lasagna soup. Rashawn says, I made lasagna soup last week. It was bomb. Hold on a minute. Talk to me, Tanya says, thank you for being a member. Talk to me, Tanya. Cute photo. She says, I've made a lasagna soup several times. So good and easy to make. Really? Hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm going to call this episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap lasagna soup. Keith says, I made lasagna soup with a group, beef and ground chicken. Okay. You made it for you and your man, Keith? Taurus with the T. Hey, Taurus with the T. Thank you for being a member. She says, Kim, do a butternut squash soup. So good. That does sound good. All right. Let's focus. All right. Lavender Harmony Nail says, I don't know about stop, Kemp. I don't know about that soup. Everybody else. Daisy says, spirit of Wendy took over. My mouth is watering. Mine too, and I haven't really even had like a good meal. Oh, Kira says it's a TikTok recipe. Is that why it's so popular now? I've done a few different TikTok recipes before, and they've actually turned out good for the most part. I found a TikTok mashed potato recipe. Oh my God. I've made it a couple of times. Oh, I might make it for Thanksgiving this year. Oh, it's so good. It is such a good recipe. And it's so easy. I'm gonna do it. I stole it from a chef on TikTok. She makes it, and I was like, oh, this is so good. All right, spicy potato soup with cheese is delicious. I'm not a big cheese. I eat cheese, but I'm very particular on what I put my cheeses with. Diva says Kempire spicy potato soup with cheese is delicious. That does sound good though. All right, so back to this. So, Lisa makes claims about the soup man. I guess it is a perfect episode for us to be talking about soup. The episode is called Salt Lake City Soup Man. So it's all related, okay? So she said, maybe that's a question for Terrence. No, it's a question for you because you brought it up. So tell us, who is the soup man? So Lisa goes in for her reading. And were you guys surprised at this, or was this Lisa leaning into what her storyline is going to be this season, and that there's trouble in paradise with her, quote, best friend, John Barlow? So let me stop looking at the lasagna. I'm getting distracted. So I feel like it was genuine, because it was interesting, because they flash back to a month before. Then they flash back to a year before about some of the conflicts that Lisa and John have had. I don't know if I 100% believe it, though. There's something about it that feels a little performative. Like she did it for the cameras, because that's what's going to be her storyline. But then when she comes back to the women and the women ask her about it, Whitney points out, she's like, she can never be vulnerable in front of us. Because she's just like, yeah, she's like, oh, he said this, about some of my relationships. And he's just like, I'm such a giver. And she's just like, what? Lee says, and who is Terrence? Terrence is the psychic that's in this episode, Lee. All right. So that was her reading. Heather and Mary say that Angie went along with Lisa's behavior when they were cool. So they're trying to point out Angie's hypocrisy in this fight between Angie and Lisa. The Angie and Lisa fight happens the entire episode. That's why I'm breaking up the recap the way that I'm breaking up the recap, because the fight is so ongoing. Okay. So, but both Heather and Mary agreed. They were like, Angie, you're mad at Lisa and what Lisa was saying and what Lisa was trying to make you do, but you were going along to get along when you and her were cool. I mean, valid points. Mary says that Angie never listens because Mary is getting very frustrated with Angie. She's like, Angie, stop. So Lisa says when she comes back, she's like, were you guys talking about my facelifts again? Well, I don't have a facelift, but I have 12 threads on the side of my face. Lisa, go get your money back, girl. You brought it up, so I just want to say, go get your money back. I could tell you didn't have a facelift. Or at least you didn't go to the Kris Jenner guy. Chris, speaking of Kris Jenner, Chris, you look better as a brunette. The blonde is not fitting. The facelift is facelifting, but that blonde, I don't like it. And that call her daddy interview with Kim Kardashian was as lackluster as Kim Kardashian. But okay. All right. Moving on. Kim Kardashian's another one that could take a break. Let people miss you, Kim. Like, you're oversaturated the market. But okay. Did y'all see the new what is it called? Skims panties with the lady hair down there? What? Do they just say this stuff so that we'll talk about them? How do they come up with this stupidity? A lot of y'all are shaving off your hair. Why would you want drawers with hair on it? That really? Okay, that was a very crazy sidebar. Yes, and they're thongs too. First of all, I don't know about a thong, but God bless you, ladies in thongs. I get why you wear them, but I do not need something up my booty the entire time I'm walking around. I'm like, I hate that. Like, even when you get like a little wedgie, I'm like, y'all have a permanent wedgie all day? You're better off not wearing anything. But now you're going to wear a thong and one with hair on the front? Okay. I don't get the marketing behind this. I think this is just Kim wanting us to talk about them. But okay. I digressed. I have digressed. Okay. So Angie goes in for her reading. One thing I will say, and I've said this before, Angie's energy, I'm big on energy. Angie's energy when she walks in to meet Terrence, pay attention to the energy that all of them come in. They come in with different energy. Angie's energy is very genuine to me. And I've said this before. There's something very genuine, which is interesting because we always talk about how performative that she can be on the show. But there's something very genuine about her energy. Like, I think she's actually a good person. You know what I mean? So she goes for her reading. Her reading is all about a possible new business that she's about to launch. She's like, first of all, she came in, she's like, don't tell me anything bad. But he tells her about this business that she's working on. Apparently, she's working on a sunglass product. She's working on multiple businesses. She's a serial entrepreneur. And he also talks about her daughter, Electra, and her daughter's horse being hurt. It's very interesting later on that the horse that was in the Tupperware does end up getting injured. Do you think that was a coincidence, or do you think that was what he was seeing? It will be interesting to find out later if something did happen to Electra's horse, but who knows? Okay. So he tells her about her reading. All right, so Lisa downplays her reading to the ladies, as I mentioned before, and makes herself the victim. Whitney gets very frustrated with her not being vulnerable. So Angie comes out after her reading, and she talks about the injury prediction. And Mary downplays. She's like, "Oh, that doesn't mean it has to happen." Blah blah blah. Okay. Bronwyn says that Angie talked about Lisa's kids' product because Lisa and Angie are fighting again. For those that are trying to understand what's happening in this episode, it's one scene, and it's constant fighting between Houston Foodie says, Kempire, you called the sunglasses business. I think that was like, Miss Cleo could have called that business. She would be silly not to start her own sunglasses business. Am I psychic? So Bronwyn points out to Angie because they can't seem to find resolve. But Bronwyn says to Angie, like, but you talked about her kid's product. But Angie's like, and she talked about your husband's gout D. And Lisa's like, I apologize about the gout D. Meredith goes in with her buyer's dress for her reading. She's like, hi, I'm Meredith. Oh, baby, I shouldn't have told you that. It's funny. Alejandro says that I think Terrence is gifted. I think he's gifted too. I just don't like how they see. That's the problem with a psychic coming on reality television. You have no control over the edit, and you never know how production is going to make you look. They can discredit you. That's why I wouldn't film reality television, not even for a guest spot. Don't ask me. Bravo. If you want me to do background work, okay, but nope. You're not going to have me on there looking crazy, and then try to paint me in a different light. All right. So Mary tries to speak with Lisa about her issues with Angie. She's like, you're an entrepreneur. You're better than this, blah, blah, blah. And Lisa's like, oh, my God, you're so uplifting. She said, you're so uplifting.
That's really upsetting to me, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't say that.
Okay. So she tries to have a side conversation. Mary tries to have a side conversation with her. Angie runs into where Terrence is doing the readings and pulls out the Tupperware. This is during Meredith's reading. And she pulls out the Tupperware. You saw she brought the Tupperware into the event. We didn't know what was in the Tupperware. I thought she was actually bringing a gift for Whitney because, usually she's really good about bringing a gift. She never comes with her hand swinging to an event. So she goes to pull out the Tupperware. Very performative, I know. But apparently what's in the Tupperware? All the gifts that Lisa Barlow has given her and her daughter Electra, including that toy horse. Okay? So she pulls out the Tupperware. While Mary's having the conversation with Lisa, she comes back over and she's like, who brought Tupperware here? Or as they say on Big Brother, who was it? I can't remember their names. Now that Big Brother's no longer on, they were saying Tupperware. Ashley and, what's her name? The other one that almost won, but didn't, and then was having the affair. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And they were calling it Tupperware. Tupperware. Asta says that was so performative. Veronique says, Tupperware party. Have you guys ever had a Tupperware party? I remember hearing about Tupperware parties when I was a kid. I never had one. But yeah. Nowadays, I don't even think you can do a Tupperware. I mean, you can, but I feel like Tupperware, people are trying to get it. Morgan, thank you, B. Whew, that was going to bother me for the rest of the day. I feel like a lot of people are leaning more towards less plastic and more glassware. You know what I mean? Just Jules says, I love Mary Cosby. Talia says, I can't wait for Jen Shaw's return. I don't think Jen Shaw is going to return, especially because of how Andy has responded to her possibly returning. I don't think so, y'all. But it might be bigger than him. The network executives would be like, no, we're bringing her back. And he will fall in line. And NBC News, are y'all okay? You're not, because they're ending their DEI too. But we already knew that with the way that y'all put Andy Cohen in position. Did y'all ever really have DEI?
Lies! The lie!
Just asking. Just asking. Funky says that's for older people, Kempire. Wow. Look, wow. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We are at 367 likes, but I'm sure we can get to 400 likes, right? So if you haven't liked the video already, be sure to like the video. Thank you so much, Keith, for the super chat. Keith says, Heather would gladly be the pimple on Lisa's cheek if she could. She wants Lisa all to herself because there can only be one lapdog at a time. Thank you, Keith. Agreed. Look, agreed. Excuse me. Natasha says too much plastic floating around now. I think that's why a lot of people are really doing more of the... I still have some like Tupperware, but I really use more of my glassware than anything. But okay. Because they say like the plastic particles seeps into whatever you put in those things. Just saying. That's why I really try not to use it. All right. So Angie tells Brittany maybe because when she was giving the gifts back, so she's like, maybe you should try it, Brittany, and maybe that would shift something with your relationship with Jared. If you didn't pay attention to what Angie said in that moment, you probably missed that shade. I was just like, I caught it maybe like the third time I watched the episode, and I was just like, damn, Angie, that was cold-blooded. But true. But true to Brittany. So Lisa then asked Angie, so who's my best friend? Who's my best friend? And they flash back to all the different times she mentions all these different celebrities. And Angie's like, Ben Affleck? Mm-mm. So Whitney goes in for her reading. So the ladies are still arguing outside. Whitney goes in for her reading. Again, this is just Whitney talking about what's been going on with her, the loss of her business. But she talks about her feeling a way about her husband, Justin, and that she has some resentment towards him because she feels like he didn't support her business, Wild Rose Beauty. But didn't he invest with you? And then when he invested with you, the business sank? That's why I don't believe Whitney's storyline. I feel like it is a storyline. So, but okay, fine, whatever. She talked about her feeling a way about the whole Justin of it all. And apparently Whitney also has a friend that she can't trust and that she needs to stay away from. I'm like, okay. And that's when Lisa Barlow walks into the room. So Lisa randomly leaves. Like she's arguing back and forth with Angie. Whitney is trying to help, was trying to help Angie. And then she gets frustrated and she's just like, I'm trying to help you here. So they're still fighting. And then at one particular point, Lisa's like, I'm leaving. Again, we're watching an edited show. There could have been something that made Lisa leave, but based off of what we watch, Lisa randomly was like, I'm leaving. Lisa, where are you going? It wasn't any reason for her to leave. But okay. So she's leaving. Angie is frustrated because she's like, she feels like the entire group is against her. She feels like the entire group always bows down to Lisa and they want her to bow down to Lisa as well. Look, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. And she gets really frustrated. She's like, you all have bowed down to her. And you see Mary Cosby is trying to calm Angie down. And she's like, even you, Mary, have bowed down to Lisa. Mary did not like that. Mary, she was like, what? Who are you talking to? She's like, you. And she was just like, she's like, I'm done with you. Oh my God. She's like, I'm done with you. I was so shocked, but I tell you, I feel like if you're friends with Mary Cosby, you're always on thin ice with Mary Cosby. Because if she could talk the way that she talked to her parishioners, please understand, no matter who you are, she's going to talk to you any way that she wants to talk to you. Mary Cosby's like, I'm done with you. And then she walks out of the party and Meredith tries to stop her and she's like, nope, and she leaves. Do you think that she was trying to avoid getting read by Terrence? I really want to see what that reading was going to be, even though she said she wasn't going to do it. Patricia says Mary bounced. She's like, I'm done with you. Like, when she did that, I was like, ooh, chills. So Mary ends up leaving too. Whitney comes out and she's like, oh, I think your last customer left. But the episode ends in a funny way because Jared calls Brittany and Brittany's like, I'm going to pick it up. And as soon as she picks up, Bronwyn is going in. She's like, Jared, do you pay Brittany's bills? And he was like, I've paid a bill here or there and for that. And then she's like, well, she's giving you up for Lent. She'll see you in May. This is why I like Bronwyn. Bronwyn is quick. She's smart. She's funny. She's self-reflective. She's actually a really good housewife. It took a turn at the end of last season, but I feel like we're back in a space where I'm enjoying Bronwyn. Bronwyn and Angie have really grown on me. I think we have a really good cast. Whitney, I'm on the fence about. Like, I don't mind Whitney. I like what she represents in regards to the culture of leaving Mormonism. And I said the same thing about Heather. This is why I always say to you, you don't necessarily need to have a storyline if you're a good reality TV star. I don't know if I'm convinced 100% with Whitney. Heather definitely can be, especially in her confessionals and giving us the dynamics of Mormonism and being a separate wife in Mormonism. But Heather, please do me a favor. Don't start dating someone for a storyline next season. Like, I really want you to find love. Like, real love with a black man. Like, I don't want her to bring a guy on there. Like, I really want her to be dating someone and then eventually, like, I hope she's been dating someone and then she will bring them on the show that way. But don't bring them on the show too soon, Heather. Like, I don't think you need a man. Okay? Deborah says that Whitney's like wallpaper. She can stay. Yeah, beige wallpaper. Sorry. All right, we hit over 400 likes. Thank you guys so much for that. If you haven't already, keep liking the video. And if you haven't subscribed, it is a subscribers only live chat. So be sure to subscribe. If you're a member of the channel, I'm going to drop the call link for you guys on the community tab right now. The episode ends with Bronwyn talking to Jared and saying what she did. I felt like that was such an epic way to end the episode. And shout out to everyone watching on X. I see you guys. What's going on, X? Daphne says, good morning, Kempire, watching from Seattle. Drew Sidora News is watching as well. Hey. Okay, hold on. Let me drop the call-in link on the community tab. Okay. And normally, guys, we do not do our recaps of Salt Lake City on Thursdays. We normally do it on Wednesdays, but had a busy day yesterday. Okay, let me drop the call-in link now, and we're going to take some quick calls, guys, because I do have to go. I have a meeting with my bookkeeper. Look, I got things to do. Like, I was away for 2 weeks. It's back to the grind. And we are still praying for Alaska. They had a typhoon this past week, and the news is not talking about it. So let's continue to pray for those affected by the typhoon and flooding in Alaska. Okay. All right. A live chat. Let's get to 450 likes, and I'll drop the call-in link for you guys as well. But if you're a member, I'll drop the call-in link for you guys as well. Let me look at some of these predictions that were a part of this week's episode. Did I forget anything in regards to this? Oh, Meredith. So Meredith's reading, she was struggling with someone in her family, I guess, is struggling with mental health. But here's the thing. Terrence might know a thing or two, because remember, I spilled the tea. Because remember, there were words on the street that Meredith was fired from the show. And I told you guys, no, I didn't hear that she was fired. I heard that Meredith had like a mental breakdown during the season, allegedly. So remember this moment where I'm telling you this, and remember what Terrence said, that someone around her, maybe her, is struggling with their mental health. So keep that in mind. So I thought that was interesting that he mentioned that in her reading. Let me see. Was there anything else on this that I wanted to talk about? No, it was a decent episode. I have to say, after watching it multiple times, I thought I might like an episode where it's all at one event, but it's harder for me to recap it because there's just so much that happens. And I feel like some stuff gets lost in translation because of the constant back and forth between Angie and Lisa. But that's me. All right, we got a long line of people backstage and members. All right, members. Members have things to say. Members, hold on. Let me pull up my timer. My little thing here is not working today. I don't know why. It's not working. Let me see. Let's bring this up. There we go. Let me just make sure this is working. Okay, there we go. All right. If you're a member, I'm going to give you a minute to share your thoughts. But if you're not a member, or I'll just read to you our members that are backstage. So if you call in later, members, you won't get a minute. Taurus with the T's backstage. We got Toya, we got Keith, we got Xena, we've got Amina, we've got Angel, and we got Ki. Okay? Those will be our members. They will get a minute. Okay? For those that are watching the general audience, you'll get 30 seconds. Sorry. All right, let's bring up Taurus with the T. Keep in mind the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, TheKempire LLC, or our sponsors, and everything that they say is alleged. Taurus with the T, what did you want to share?
Happy Thursday, Kemp.
You too.
I just wanted to say this episode was very bothersome for me to see Brittany react to the Jared information as though this is sincerely surprising to her. I was actually quite disappointed to know that her and Whitney had such a meaningful conversation just the episode previously. And girl said that she couldn't even go one day without speaking to Jared. Jared, who was going all around town and really disparaging her name. I can understand why Mary is upset with Angie because Angie just could not seem to get it together. She just kept rambling on. So if I was Lisa, honestly, I would have left too. And that's really it. I am still enjoying Bronwyn. I think she brings a lot to the show, and I love how self-reflective she is. And I do agree that Heather is a big fat liar, and her reading was completely wrong. She was just trying to put on for the camera. But that's it.
All right. Thanks, Taurus with the T. All right, let's bring up Toya next. Toya, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I just wanted to say that, I don't really care for Lisa Barlow because she pretends to have this perfect life and she hangs out with celebrities and she's just so amazing and fabulous. And her biggest issue in the past 3 seasons was not her son going off to do his mission and not being able to control where he went. There's a reason why we connect with people like Mary and even Angie's story with her mom. Like, we want to see the glitz and the glamour and the ladies with the money, but keep it real. And the stuff that she talked about with John, yeah, girl, keep it real. But you kept it real with the darn psychic person and not with the ladies. And she went back out there and lied. I mean, come on, what's going on here? I don't know. And I don't understand why Brittany was trying to come for Angie. Girl, leave Angie alone. Angie is too fast with her tongue and her words are lethal. Leave her alone. Why was you coming for her about her house? Okay?
Thanks, Toya.
Thanks, Kempire.
Bye. We have Keith backstage. We're bring Keith up next. Keith, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So first of all, I'm gonna be honest. I thought this episode was probably like a 6, maybe a 5, and that's really because I can't get with episodes that is just one scene. Yeah. It kind of, I put this in the chat actually. It kind of reminds me of like a Tyler Perry play. Very lazy. And I feel like it's one dimension. I feel like they had nothing else to do, but I feel like they should have at least had 2-3 scenes. It was very lazy in my opinion. However, it was a decent episode. That's why I would give it like a 5, I guess. But also, Brittany irritates me really badly, and it's not necessarily because of her personality. It's because she's a deadbeat parent. And my thing is, it's one thing to be a deadbeat parent, but this may sound misogynistic, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but there's just something different about being a deadbeat mother. I don't know what it is, but when I see mothers that are deadbeats, it grinds my gears a little bit more. I guess it's because men are typically seen as the ones that could just leave during pregnancy, but there's just something about a mother that doesn't get along with their child that really grinds my gears. And one last thing, Lisa, baby, you need to sue whoever did your 12 threads because I don't see a difference. In fact, I see a regression. But that's about it.
Bye, Keith. Now bring up Xena next. Xena, what do you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. Hey, beautiful people. Y'all know I'm at work, but I'm on lunch today. I'm at lunch at this time. So, yes, I agree so much with you guys and the callers. Seriously, y'all are hitting everything on the head. I fully agree with what the last caller said about Brittany. There's something different when a paternal parent, I mean, you carry that child. That is strange. You can't give up a man for 30 days for your child. Brittany, shame on you. And there's nothing that makes that acceptable. And with Angie and Mary, I really want them to stay friends, but I understand where Mary's coming from. It's okay to sling mud a little bit, but you have to remember you're a mother, you're a wife, you're an entrepreneur. Sometimes you got to jab them and get them sometimes every now and again, but Angie just going tit for tat, back and forth. It shows exactly why you and Lisa were friends for that long and talking on the phone every single day for that long. Angie, you ain't innocent. Lisa, stop lying. I understand why she don't want to share with her friends because, I mean, frenemies with friends like these, who needs enemies? But be real with the audience. We see right through it, Lisa. The minute that terrorist read brought up her, it instantly start breaking down. Lisa, just keep it real. All right, that's all, y'all.
Thanks, Nina.
Bye.
Bye. Just for a heads up, guys, Mary and Angie have made amends. They're in a better place now. But they did have a little bit of an issue. All right. Amina's backstage. We're going to bring Amina up next. Amina, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. I'm here to defend my girl, Lisa, delusional, baby gorgeous, Barlow, and I'm prepared to windmill, especially Keith, that comment. No,
Why you laughing? Why you laughing?
Alone, okay? Just leave us on our tour. Angie started this fight on camera. She was the one who said that she compared Lisa to Jen Shah, and ever since then it was just a ping pong of pettiness. It was like a ping pong pettiness between the two of them. But Angie was the one who started it, and she can't take it. And I didn't like Angie in the beginning, and then I kind of liked her, but now I'm back to not liking her. I don't know why these girls always have to make Lisa the point of every single season, always have to comfort. Leave her alone. Let her drink her soda and have her 12 threads in peace. That's it.
Thanks, Amina. Wow. I mean, people, there are some Lisa Barlow stands. Not over here, but okay. Apparently Amina does. Okay, Angel's backstage. Angel, what did you want to share?
Oh my God. Hi, Camp. Happy Thursday. Woo woo, Amina. We hear you. We're not judging, but kind of judging. Okay. I gave the episode a 7.5 because the fight between Lisa and Angie got exhausting. It was just too long, too drawn out. So I was over it. And that's why I'm giving it such a bad rating this week. But for Mary, I love her, but I wish she was more open-minded and would have just entertained Terrence, even if he wasn't like as intuitive as he wants us to believe as the audience, because why shut that off? I know you have a faith in God. A lot of people do, but that doesn't mean you can't be open to other things and try to get insights from the universe and other avenues. And then I agree with you about Heather. I don't know if it's going to be a Black Muslim, but I would like her to get her garden tool phase on next season. And let's see her date around and see who she can find. And let's have Patty Singer come in and try to hook her up with somebody really good next season.
All right. Thanks, Angel.
Bye, Kev. Have a good weekend.
You too. I think with Mary Cosby, okay, besides her feeling like this, like it was a soothsayer, do you think that maybe she was also afraid of what he might tell her about her son? So I could see why she's probably like, I don't want to know. Could be that. Or she really could just not agree. We know a lot of people that don't agree with, anytime I talk about astrology, one or two, you'd be like, I wish he was done talking about that. Okay, calm down. All right. We've got Ki backstage. Ki, what did you want to share?
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I have T-Mobile, so I had to make sure. Fair enough. Okay, so I love that I can take advantage of this call today because I normally work in office on Wednesdays, but I'm remote Thursdays. I have to mention that I love the way Mary just got frustrated with Angie as if she was like a toddler. Like, stop throwing things. I couldn't with that. I agree with you. I didn't really know how I felt about Bronwyn at the beginning, but she's winning me back over. It's her quick wittedness and her willingness to be vulnerable that gets me. I'm like, okay, girl, you can stay. You can stay. And then Heather writing for Lisa is just so bizarre to me because I feel like it just goes against her principles that she puts out outwardly, and then the way Lisa just tends to harp on things and be such a complete narcissist. It's kind of like absolutely insane. And every time you do the soundbite, we're quickly reminded of it. So it's very interesting to me that Heather just picks and chooses who she needs to hang on to and cling on to. But anyway, love your recaps. Love you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. That was the benefit of us doing it today. You see some people that normally aren't able to watch on Wednesdays are able to watch on Thursday. So maybe we'll switch it up every once in a blue. All right. April's backstage. We're going to bring April up next. April, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Hi, good afternoon, Kempire. I snuck away during our work meeting because, I had to get what I had to say, but it's okay though, because I'm a tasking person. I did enjoy the episode. I would give it like a 7.5. And I do think that Mary doesn't, believe in it, just like you said, like a soothsayer, and possibly what that he could have potentially revealed about what was going on in her life. Because, certain people, especially Black people, they do not fool with the cards or the stars. They be like, that's what the Bible is for, even though the three wise men were astrologers, but that's another story for another day. And I think two things can be true at once, that Angie was doing a little bit too much, but also what she's saying is right. And then the other side is that she was just so upset that what everybody was like saying, she wasn't registering that Heather was bobbing her head, and so was Whitney, that yes, Lisa does do this, but you gotta like just take it back and let her keep digging her own grave. And it was surprising, even though they didn't make Lisa and Meredith made a pact, that she didn't get onto her about talking about her children to Angie. So that was sus. Have a good day, Kempire.
Thanks, April. Now back to work. All right, Shuffle Reigns backstage. We have a lot of members backstage. I haven't dropped the call link for the general audience yet. All right, general audience, I'm going to drop the link for you. Nelson the Virgo will be our last member call, which means that'll be the last 1 minute timer. Okay? All right, let me drop the call link there. Hold on 1 second. Chef Lorraine, what did you want to share?
Hey, sweetheart, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Where are you? It's so beautiful outside.
Oh, I am in my backyard in Charlotte where you don't want to come.
That is not about me not wanting to come. I would love to come to Charlotte, even if it was just to hang out.
Well, when you do, look me up.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm going to be short about it. This episode gave me such a headache. I didn't even watch the end.
Oh, damn.
I couldn't even watch the whole end. It just gave me, I was like,
I can see
I had to turn channels. The one thing I did want to say, this happened in last episode when Lisa told Heather that she loves her. At that moment, Heather looked like she wanted to leap over that table and slob that girl down. But that was the only thing, because I can't even talk about this episode because they traumatized me with all that daggone yelling. But that's all I wanted to say, honey, and see your face and say hi and tell you I love you.
Thank you so much, Chef Lorraine. Have a good day.
You too,
Enjoy your backyard. Bye. I love it. She's out in the sun. It looks like she got fields. Look, fields. Property. Acreage. Okay. All right. Jennifer is backstage. We'll bring Jennifer up next. Jennifer, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. How you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing good. Just wanted to say, give it at least an 8 because it was just given. It was just given. Like from start to finish, the only one scene that we had was that Whitney was talking to her husband about sitting here planning an event, and the whole event was just chaos. And by the end of it, she just looked like she was just like upset. But can't nobody hold Mary down? Can't nobody sit there and can't nobody hold no. She gonna say what she gonna say. She gonna be what she is, and you gotta deal with it, whether you like it or not. But all in the end of the day, like Lisa and Angie, they just it's going to keep going until it just blows up. And with Meredith, real quick, Meredith is with the mental break. Is her nephew sitting there having his own back mental?
Oh, could be. Could be.
And maybe she is having her own because didn't her and Brittany get into it? That's what the rumors is.
I don't recall who she would have gotten into it with during her breakdown.
But we gonna find out and see. Can't wait. Love to see your face. Glad to see that you back in the States and you sitting here vibing and relaxing and glowing and everything. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Jennifer. Take care. Bye. All right. Let's bring up Elijah in 1 sec. Hold on 1 second, Elijah. Guys, we're almost at 500 likes. Don't forget to like the video. Jennifer says, hey, from Ireland. Loving Angie. Loving Angie, was sad to see her and Mary argue with hoping they do make up. They do make up. What part of Ireland? I was just in Ireland the first week of my vacation. I use vacation loosely. All right, let me bring up Elijah next. Hold on, Elijah. Elijah, are you there?
Hey, Kempire.
Here we go. Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. I just wanted to say, about this episode, to me, I feel like this shows why the editors edit so much down, because it felt like the whole episode is really the event. So I feel like this proves that's why there's so many things that we don't see because of this, the way they go at it. And sometimes I feel like I wonder if they try to make the fights longer in their mind so it can really get shown. But I have to say, I understood completely what Angie was saying, but she needed to chill a little bit. Then when she started throwing the cards, I wanted to laugh, but I'm like, you're doing a little too much. but it was a little funny. But she was doing too much. But that's just I feel like that's just Angie on the show. That's her character. You know what I'm saying? And then Heather is so I can't stand her, and I haven't been able to stand her since a while. And everybody loves Heather, they love her. That I can't, because to me, I feel like you are so riding hard for Lisa in her face, but you talk about her real bad in the confessionals. You look a mess. You know what I'm saying? You look a mess, and you look like those girls at school that are not really it, and so they try to hang out with the ones that are it, even though they know they don't really like them. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't mesh with Lisa. You guys are not compatible to be friends, but you want to be up her bush, and I just think she needs to stop. It's embarrassing at this age. It's embarrassing.
Not up her bush. Goodbye, Elijah. I wonder if she's gonna wear one of those Skims bush panty thongs. I mean, Elijah brings up a very valid point. When you think about how much they edit down, and they don't know that this was going, when they're filming this, they don't know that this scene is going to be one episode. So they probably, can you imagine what was edited out of this episode? So that's a very valid point to kind of think about, like, oh, but he's right. It was too much. It was too much for the audience to see this one fight, especially when it's just between those two women. But at the same time, it wasn't a bad episode. You get what I'm saying? I don't think I would want another episode like it, though. Just saying. All right, let me bring up Nelson. Nelson, I did say, was going to be our last, not our last caller, but our last member with 1 minute, right? Nelson?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was having a little bit of technical difficulties earlier. Like, I couldn't hear you or the caller. But
something with StreamYard. I don't know what's going on with that.
So let me just try my best to get it out real quick. So I didn't really fully watch the episode. I've just seen clips. But just hearing, like, from what people are saying, I just wanted to comment on, in particular, like, the reason I feel like Heather, Brittany, and Whitney are kind of needed for the show. So me growing up as, like, a Catholic, like, I know this is a whole completely different religion. And, like, I'm, like, bi now. And there's something about, like, I don't know, there's something about the extremities of, like, Heather being, like, I don't want to say diehard, but she was, like, a diehard Mormon that, like, you know, switched over. Then we have Brittany, that she's so into the religion that, like, I know that we, like, clock her for, like, being, you know, that kind of mom, but we also have to remember that there's, like, things in religion that get so ingrained in your head that, like, it's very, very hard to just all of a sudden switch it off. And the reason I mentioned that I'm Catholic and I'm bi is because that's something that, like, I myself had to, like, unlearn a lot of, like, Catholic teachings. Like, I shouldn't be, I'm sorry, I don't want to take too much time, how I shouldn't be how I am. But, you know, I'm open. I'm very happy with being who I am. So I just feel like Brittany just hasn't reached that part yet. And it might, I don't know. I'm not saying that we need to see it, but
I think you're talking about indoctrination. I mean, we don't want to call these different religions cults, but there's an indoctrination in regards to what is put into the minds. And very much like what you were saying with Heather, Heather is the one who told us about the concept of how you prioritize your husband over your children, because you need a husband in order to get into heaven.
Right.
So
I just thought that whole conversation was just like, just Heather mentioning that stuff is interesting. And then I feel like Whitney, she's kind of like, she, like, pulled off from the church. So she's kind of like, I don't want to say reformed, but, like, that's another type. Like, you know how, like, even in the Jewish religion, like, you got, like, you know, real Hasidic Jews, and then you have the reformed ones that do. So that's why I feel like all
even the Mormons,
them, like,
you see Lisa's Mormon.
Right, exactly. And she sells tequila. So but she doesn't really, I mean, I know her son did the Mormon, like, he went and did the thing, but I don't know. Just between Brittany, Heather, and Whitney, I just feel like they have a good balance when it comes to at least showing us the Mormon religion stuff. Clearly there's other religions, but I just feel like, at least in particular with Salt Lake City, I think that this is a good thing. And that's it. I'm sorry, I didn't want to take too much
Thanks,
time.
Nelson.
That's a good point to make. Have a good one.
You too. Is Bronwyn still within the religion? I know she had the baby, but is she still within the religion? She doesn't seem like she's practicing. All right. Alessia is backstage. All right. So everyone else, you get 30 seconds. Okay. So respect the timer. We're going to bring Alessia up next. Alessia, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Okay. I will be really, really quick. So first of all,
Brittany is a deadbeat parent, and it's so bad that like Bravo, as usual, like they are trying to portray this like this thing that is funny. It's not funny. Like Kiki's father as well. He's a deadbeat father. They have to stop like portraying these deadbeat parents. It's not funny. Another person who is not funny is Mary. Personally, for me, I don't like Mary since season one. The thing that she said kind of problematic. I didn't like it. I think she's a user, and I think Meredith was right. She was using Meredith, and now she was using Angie. And it's always working on thin ice with her. That's why I really don't like her. Oh, sorry. I really felt bad for Whitney. And sorry, okay, I finished the time. I had a lot more stuff to say, but yeah, I finished my time. Sorry.
Thank you, Alessia.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, we have Lee backstage. We'll bring Lee up next. Lee, what did you want to share?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm doing good. So actually, the last member that called in, I agree with him 100%. That is exactly how I feel about Bronwyn's mother. Like, it's so easy just to say she's a mean old lady, which true, but she's a mean old lady because she grew up in that religion. So it's like, at what point do you choose your religion over your child? You know what I mean? So that's a really hard concept for a lot of people to grasp and even just change. So that's all I have to say is like, yes, she's mean, but it's a reason why she's mean to Bronwyn. Not saying that is right, but that's what it is.
Yeah. Thanks, Lee.
All right, talk soon.
Bye. I think it's important for us, and I think what the callers are saying is to give grace to these individuals, because I don't like to associate religion with cults, but I think we should on some level when we talk about the indoctrination of what you're told over and over and over again that you truly believe at your core. And we're asking people to disbelieve some of their core beliefs that are becoming, part of their virtues. So that's something we have to think about in regards to this. All right. Love Compiece is backstage. Love Compiece, what did you want to share?
Hey, Lavender husband. Totally appreciate you doing all that work on your quote unquote vacation.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to say, like, if I don't hear serial entrepreneur again, I would be fine because, yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Because Wendy claimed to be that, and I know this is not typically, like, not related, but Wendy claimed to be, a serial entrepreneur and stated that she was like multifaceted, but now it's like, girl, you have multifaceted charges. But it's just, I'll say allegedly, whatever. But I had high hopes for Wendy and Eddie, but love you, bye.
Bye, Love Compiece. She said multifaceted charges. Damn. All right. Last but definitely not least, we've got Anthony backstage. Anthony, what did you want to share in regards to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Hey, Kempire. Hey. Anthony from Los Angeles, California. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. I thought it was very chaotic just because we had the whole episode about one event, everyone going after each other and just seeing a little bit of their own stories, like Lisa with her marriage, Whitney with her business, Angie with her daughter and the horse. But lastly, I do like the conversation about the richest zip code, about them talking about different cities. And notice how Meredith was quiet about that? I mean, she rents, but I thought that was funny. But the whole episode was chaotic. I loved it. 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anthony.
Take care.
Bye. And with 10 seconds to spare. All right, guys, here are my final thoughts on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Although it did feel like a very chaotic episode, and hence why I had to break up the recap the way that I broke it up, just to make sense of the different scenes. But I still feel like there's so much of the little jabs that Angie and Lisa took at each other that we missed out on. But again, this is a recap. This is not the episode. And I know some of you don't watch the episodes. You just watch my recap. But if you want to get into the nitty gritty of the chaos of their conversation, you're going to have to watch the episode. Sorry. But I think this was a great synopsis based off of what I had to say and what the callers had to say and what people have been saying in the live chat. Replay crew, we haven't forgotten about you. Be sure to let us know where you're watching from, how you would rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and your thoughts and opinions on the episode, and your thoughts and opinions on what we all had to say. Okay? All right. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our new King's Guards. Be sure to welcome them in the YouTube live chat. Thank you to everyone watching on Twitch. We see you guys. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheKempire. And make sure you follow me on TheKempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. And we're also live on, of course, YouTube, but we're also live on X as well. So shout out to everyone watching on X. We see you guys there. And I will see you guys tomorrow for our live recap of The Real Housewives, the final part of The Real Housewives of Miami reunion. So stay tuned for that. I will also be watching, hopefully, I probably will after this go watch last week's episode of Real Housewives of Orange County, but that will probably be a pre-recorded recap, okay? Just because, Was last week's episode any good? No one even asked me if I was going to recap it. But okay, it's all right. It's fine. It's fine. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. Where did the week go? I just got here on Monday. Lord. Be sure to check out some of the things that you may have missed here on the Kempire YouTube channel, but also subscribe to the Kempire podcast. All right. Over at the podcast, you can get our live recasts, but also special episodes, including our Club Kempire paid Apple Podcast subscription. There's a free 3-day trial. So if you want to check out some of what's been going on over there, there's also the audio from my live show in Philly. So go check that out. And I appreciate you all being here. Everyone, have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for more information on the podcast, head on over to KempireRadio.com.